Okay, now here's a home I've done before. Originally it actually had a disconnected section at the elbow because the vent is going to go up probably like 10 feet, have a little 90-degree turn and run all the way out here, and it's going to come out the side of the house behind this garage addition. So we're going to do basically the same thing I've done in the other videos. Now, since this one has been maintained, it's going to be a lot easier. All right, it's going to go a lot smoother. I'm probably going to go jump straight into hooking the vacuum up from the inside and just brushing from the outside. Okay, so first step on this one is going to be turning on the dryer, going over to the vent, and you can see how the little flappy door is flying straight open like that, and I can feel the airflow from here, so we know everything's good. We're going to clamp this door open, because if we don't, what's going to happen? The vacuum is going to slam that door shut, and you're going to lose all your suction. So we're just going to clamp her open like that, like that, whatever. Then we're going to give it a good brushing, and you can see, I do this every year, so there's not much buildup. I don't know if you can see it in there. Let's see. There's not much buildup even on the outside, and you can see little fluffs on the inside, but that's normal for this amount of time, but it's not going to be too bad. I'm going to hook the vacuum up inside, and it's going to take everything into the vacuum, so you don't have to worry about making a mess and then blowing all this stuff out here and then having to clean it up. So it'll be nice and clean and easy. Okay, now, even though it's not necessary on this one, because we know it's cleared already, what I'm going to do is brush straight up to the elbow to get what I can out first before hooking the vacuum up. And you would do this on pretty much every up and over vent, but it isn't necessary on this one because I already know it's cleared because I do it every year. This one here went up a little bit past the elbow, but that's all we're talking about right there. Nothing major. Next up, I'm gonna bring the vacuum in, and then another thing I like to do is measure how many sticks it is from the outside port to where the bend is at. So we're talking, we know the bend's about right there in the house, and then we're just going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 7 sticks, so it's about 21, 22 feet until we get to the bend. And the reason I do that is because if I know that it's 7 sticks to the bend, any stoppages that I run into before that point, I know I'm not at the elbow, so I know there's some kind of other obstruction in the way. But that's just another little tip I like to do, and it helps. I'm sure it would help new people trying it too, just so they can get like a better understanding of how the vent runs. But yeah, alrighty, let's move the vacuum in and we'll get to brushing. All right, so we said it was 7 rods to the elbow, right? Plus the brush, 7 rods plus the brush. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 8 rods, just to be sure. And we're gonna see if we can hear the suction in there. So that's good. And we know this puppy's gonna be nice and clear. And we're gonna run her in there as far as we can, just smoothly. We don't need to start spinning right away because, like I said, you know it's not clogged up, especially if you maintain it. But I'm going to try to get to the elbow first and then brush on the way back. Look at that. I have 1 left. I took 8. Right now we're at 6.5. So this will take us right to the turn. There it goes. And now I'm down the turn right there. Now what I'd like to do, okay, here we are. What I like to do, go back inside to the dryer vent, take a picture up with your flashlight so that you can confirm that the brush is actually past the elbow. So I'm going to do that now. Right, and there is my brush. Right there. You can't really see it from where I'm at, but I can see it with my eyes. It's good though. All right, now, after you've taken your picture and everything and you've seen your brush from the other end, and you know you're at the very end of it, you hook the vacuum back up. We got our suction going again, and we're just going to go ahead and pull back while brushing. Nice and slow. And it'll just break up all the lint. And it'll all be sucked in right into the vacuum. And you'll be left with no mess to clean up afterwards. Oh, and look what we have here. We have an old rod that was actually laying in the pipe from when they must have tried to clean it on their own years ago. And it's been laying in there the whole time. I wonder if it has a brush attached to it or not, but my brush is probably wrapped around it or it got knotted up with it. So there you go. Look, we're gonna pull this guy out with it. Okay, well, that happens sometimes, you know. People will try to clean the stuff themselves. And the pipe is so large that your brush will go right around this and you won't even feel it. It's just like a thing that's sitting in there. But what happened was they probably were brushing it and then it came unscrewed here and they lost it. That's why you don't want to use these kits, really, if you can avoid it, the ones from Home Depot. Yeah. Let's see. Well, let's see. You really got a lot of... Oh, there's my brush. Okay. How far did they go? Yeah, see, look. They must have lost the brush in there too, but there's no brush in there from what I can feel. It looks like they must have got some portion of it out, but yeah, I'd never seen this thing before, so it was just sitting there on the bottom of the pipe, and then this time when I brushed it, I happened to wrap around it. Nice. I know what this rod is from, actually. This is from a guy that came out to clean the vent years ago and failed. And he failed because, if you remember at the beginning of this video, I said this pipe had a disconnection at the elbow when I first did it a couple years ago. So I'm guessing what happened is he ran into that disconnection, started feeding the rod into the wall. He couldn't get it back out. He pulled and yanked on it, couldn't get it back out. He broke the brush off behind the wall and probably wound up unscrewing his rods. So those have been here. Those have been laying in that pipe for, God, 5 years maybe. So the cleaning is done. Now we're just going to disconnect the vacuum, disconnect it from power, pull it off of here, and go ahead and pack up. We're going to use the blower one final time to blow out any bits that might be left in there, little fuzzes and stuff. But other than that, the cleaning is done. All right, we run the dryer. Airflow's still good. Airflow's still awesome out here. So retrieve your clamp. Pack up the ladder.